Good morning. I'm Drexel Rankin.
I'm Patty Rankin, and the Rankins have been members of First Christian Church since 2005.
Those who attended this congregation prior to 2011, the year that Faye Watson died, knew that Faye was the unofficial greeter who stood at the front door of First Christian Church week after week, year after year, in the blazing heat of summer or the Arctic blasts of winter, without fail. And that's the reason that these doors are being dedicated in his honor. There's a passage from the 84th Psalm that I would often quote to Faye as I shook his hand on Sunday morning and entered the building. The verse that I quoted to him was this: "I would rather be a doorkeeper in the house of the Lord than serve in the tents of the wicked." And we would both laugh, and I would come on in. But that's who Faye was. He was the doorkeeper. No one got into this building or the building downtown without a handshake or a hug and a warm greeting from Faye. Further, he knew the names of all of those people that he greeted, both the adults as well as the children. And he didn't do it just at this site. He had already been doing this for years at the downtown church. Anita Brooks, a member for more than 50 years of this congregation and who is now deceased, told this story so many times that she had become a member of this church while the church was still downtown because of Faye's greeting. And I am certain that Anita's story could be told 100-fold and much more.
Faye was a quiet, warm, caring, and generous man, and very humble. Those that were welcomed by him each Sunday saw his friendly smile and felt his welcome. He was pretty huggable too. I remember how he loved a good meal, especially with good friends, which usually meant friends from First Christian. We all knew and loved him.
I think that Faye's generosity could be wrapped up in an event that happened here at First Christian Church in 2001. I was serving as the interim minister then, and I strongly felt that an incoming minister should not be strapped with an overwhelming debt. Well, in 2001, First Christian Church was still paying off its mortgage on this building. And the mortgage at that time amounted to $100,000. I proposed to the board that the church needed to have a miracle Sunday on which we would put forth a goal of an offering of $100,000. The miracle would mean an offering on one Sunday of that amount, $100,000 cash or in kind in the offering plate. No pledges, no promises of payment at some later time. Now, part of that story is that Faye hated debt. And he especially hated his church having debt, especially a debt of this size. Long story short, the offering on Miracle Sunday exceeded $100,000 in the offering plates that morning. And because of hints that I received from some of Faye's closest friends, I am convinced to this day that Faye was a significant player in that victory. One result is that today this church is able to sponsor so many wholeness ministries year after year. But you would never know of Faye's generosity from Faye. As interim minister, I knew Faye loved his church and supported it in every way that he could, thus paving the way for the future and future generations of members of this congregation.
Faye and all those who gifted the church financially have allowed FCC to continue ministry without interruption during difficult times. Coming out of COVID is one of those times. Those resources also allowed us to reach out to others with our wholeness ministries grants so that we may extend our ministry into our community and beyond. So thank you to those who have gone before us and who believed in the church enough to generously give to our future.
Even if you never met him, you should be grateful for Faye, for his ministry at these doors and his ministry of giving that allows us as a congregation to be vital in 2022.